That's all.
Oh, y'all are hilarious. The MVP race heating up, and everyone has their favorite candidate, including James Harden, telling ESPN he deserves it. I've only been here for a few weeks, but I already see his mindset. He wants to win. Some guys just want numbers, but he has both. But on the West Coast, Devin Booker also making a strong case. Best record in the West. Dropped a cool 49 last night in a win against Denver. Here's Booker on if he belongs in that MVP convo.
You hear the MVP chants, but are you looking at that? Hey, you could be in that conversation.
Yeah. One of the best performances I've seen him have since I've been here, because of the variables and the obstacles that we had. To have 49 and 10 on a back-to-back it just kind of not backs up what I said in pregame, but the fact that he's not in the MVP conversation is just somewhat silly.
There's starting to be more buzz around Booker's name with the Suns still rolling late in the season. He now has the 6th best odds for league MVP, that according to Caesars, while Joel Embiid and Jokic are still strong favorites. Stephen A., where do you think Booker belongs in the MVP convo?
Easily top 3. Listen, I was just on the Denver radio station with our former colleague here at ESPN, Mark Schlereth, who does radio in Denver, and his morning show does a great job with his crew. And I was talking about Jokic, because Jokic is unbelievable. The man can't jump onto a curb from the street. He can't jump onto a curb, and nobody can stop him. Just a big tub of lard, just leaning on people and doing everything, and you can't stop him. He's amazing. He's just amazing. And I think that when you look at Denver, if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. ultimately in the years to come, I think in the next year or two, Big Perk, we'll be talking about Memphis and Denver, in terms of supremacy in the Western Conference, unless Phoenix sticks around for a long time to come. We just can't ignore what we're seeing from Jokic and the crew. Joel Embiid is phenomenal. He's right up there for the MVP race, and unlike Jokic, he has more of a profound impact on the defensive side of the ball, which Doc Rivers and others would be quick to talk about, and we can't deny all of this stuff. We know what Ja Morant is capable of. He averaging 27 a night, even though he's going to be out the next 2 weeks and all of this other stuff. We know what Giannis does. We get all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Phoenix Suns are 60-14. 6-0. Okay? They've won. When you talk about him, they're 15 games better than the Philadelphia 76ers. 15 games. When you look at what's transpiring in Phoenix, I'm going to remind everybody what I said earlier. They got a top 2 Coach of the Year candidate in Monty Williams. They got a top 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Mikal Bridges. And I think that the time to ignore Devin Booker has to come to an end. He's got a mid-range game. He's got a long-range game. He's athletic. He can finish at the basket. He can finish in the open court. The brother was always scoring points throughout his career. But now with CP3 and those boys there, he's an even better player. They're a big-time defensive team in the NBA. What doesn't he do? Chris Paul is out for 15 games. He departed as them being the best team in the West and in the NBA. He comes back 15 games later. They're still the best team in the West and the NBA. The brother is special. We watched him last year during the NBA Finals. It was a little up and down a couple of games. Other games he exploded. The dude he's got star written all over him. And what we could say about the other people, my point is, we can't deny saying about him. And when you take that into consideration, along with him carrying the offensive load, him being the primary option, along with the fact that they're the best team in the NBA, record-wise by a distance, how are we going to sit here with a straight face, prioritizing winning, prioritizing availability, prioritizing leadership, prioritizing accountability, prioritizing all of those things that matter to us all? How are we going to ignore Devin Booker when all he does in a very low, monotone voice and approach to the game is simply go out there and do his thing on a night-in, night-out basis. I just don't know how we can ignore this kid any longer. I really can't.
Well, we can't ignore him, and I feel like we're not ignoring him. And I said this when we had a conversation a few weeks ago when CP3 went out, and I said we all acknowledge that Devin Booker is a young superstar. Now it's time for him to show us that he could win without CP3. He did that, and I believe he has. I believe that he has entered the conversation of MVP. Do I put him above Jokic? No. Do I put him above Embiid? No. Do I put him above Giannis? No. And you know why? For the simple fact that, one, those three guys have been doing it all season long. It's times where you can have a debate between Devin Booker and CP3 whether who should be the MVP of that team. It's time I done seen CP3 close when he was healthy. The Phoenix Suns, when Devin Booker was out, they didn't skip a beat. They have the better basketball team. And so when I look at the MVP, if you take Jokic off the Nuggets would be in the lottery. If you took Embiid off of Philly would be in the lottery. If you took Giannis off of Milwaukee would actually be in the play-in tournament. If you took Devin Booker off the Phoenix Suns, they would still be a top 5 team in the Western Conference this year. That's how I look at an MVP candidate. And I'm not knocking at what D-Book has done. I'm not knocking at Stephen A., but I'm not putting him top 3. He's in the conversation for his top 5. He may have knocked down DeMar DeRozan or Ja Morant or Luka, surpassed them. But those other 3 guys, they've been holding it down for the entire season.
Time out. Forget what I said about Dan Orlovsky. Uncle Perk at the barbecue. What the hell have you been drinking? The Phoenix Suns, without Devin Booker, top 5 in the Western Conference, over Golden State, Memphis, Denver, Dallas, Utah, without Devin Booker, they're better than those teams. What you been drinking? Hell no, that ain't true. That is not true. Without Devin Booker, they are not a top 5 team in the Western Conference. That is patently false. That's number 1. Number 2, when you talk about what these teams would be without Giannis, Embiid, okay, Jokic, okay? Jokic is a different animal. Don't miss games. Okay, he is what he is. We get all of that, and I understand that. But does that mean that we get to ignore what Phoenix is with Devin Booker? There's something to be said about that. That's like, okay, what would the Bulls have been without Michael Jordan? What would the Lakers have been without Kobe when Kobe won MVP? What would Oklahoma City have been without Russell Westbrook once Kevin Durant left? Okay? The point that I'm trying to make to you is that you don't have to take away from anybody else. But that doesn't mean that you can't elevate somebody who deserves to be elevated. They're the best team in basketball. They've got 60 wins on the season already. They're 8-9 games ahead of Memphis as a number 2 seed. They're 14 games better than anybody in the Eastern Conference. And Devin Booker has been a model of consistency. He ain't scoring 51 game and 2 the next. Consistently, 25 points a game. 25, 5, and 5. This is what he does on a night-in, night-out basis. And they just got from the finals. So everybody knew they was coming. Everyone knew they had arrived. And still he showed up this year and been busting everybody's a living butt. I can't ignore that. Can't ignore it.
Stephen A., I'm not ignoring it. I'm just telling you, he's not top 3. He's top 5. And so here it is. When you ask me what I've been drinking nothing but smart water because I'm on the diet, okay? And that's why my brain is functioning. It's functioning the way it's functioning the way that it is.
You're making me laugh. You're not eating. You're not eating.
Hold on. I may have squeezed in some oxtails here and there, but that's a whole nother thing. But listen, Stephen A., here's the thing. Right. I'm not knocking what D Book is doing. I'm a fan. I believe he should be top 5. But here's why I say, if you take D Book off the Suns, why I believe that they still will be a top 5 team in the Western Conference. Let me remind you, CP3 had Oklahoma City in the playoffs.
So?
And this team that he's on right now, with the way DeAndre Ayton has been playing, Mikal Bridges, the depth of that bench, the coaching of Monty Williams, this team is better than that Oklahoma City team that CP3 was on.
They were in the playoffs.
Hey,
they went a
party's
top
over.
5.
Plenty more NBA in just a bit, but we got
They was number